It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
Welcome, my friends, to another edition of A Cup of Coffee with Will and Chris. I'm your man, Wild Will, and this guy, who's obviously allergic to vitamin D, little sunshine, he's got to keep his eyes protected. That's Uncle Chris, and he's missed me. I'm just getting back from vacation.
I did miss you, man. Vacation, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
We got to spend a week down in Arkansas. We did a wild safari, both aquariums. And I'm going to tell you guys, I know it's a little off topic, but if you have to pick between the Branson Aquarium and Johnny Morris's Wonders of Wildlife, I would highly recommend going to the Springfield one. It was much better. Really cool vacation, good to get away, and I'm refreshed. And we're now in full shootout high school football, cup of coffee with Will and Chris mode. So this week's show, we're not going to have as much maybe controversial stories.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks have been fun, right?
Not doing quite as much investigative journalism and studying, but I did spend a good amount of time because, as you guys are well aware, the sales tax in Camden County passed. We'll talk about that. And the commission's office moves forward with another gift to the sheriff department right after that election. Kind of weird. We'll talk about that. Of course, you saw the biker feud heats up, another house fire, and potentially the world's biggest fish ever caught with a bow was caught over the last couple weeks right here in mid-Missouri. So we'll talk about that. And we're going to throw it over to Daryl, our man here at Slumberland, and I'm sure he's going to tell you guys about this incredible special going on right now through the 23rd, the anniversary special. Depending on how much you come and spend now through the 23rd, you're either going to get a 2-night stay, a 3-night stay, or a 4-night stay at over 400 different premier resorts, hotels across the country. So pretty cool time. Daryl probably has more to tell us.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. A couple weeks ago, we did a tease with our new Sleep Solutions gallery. Well, I'm standing in front of phase 2, our sheet wall. Sleep has a lot to do with mattresses, but there are a ton of other elements that go into a great night's sleep, and we've got them here at Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. Come check it out, Slumberland Furniture at the Lake, where we're bringing happy home.
Daryl is the man, and he's got something for you during this anniversary sale. And I'm telling you what, Chris, we talk about it, but I think it's about that time. My goal right now is by October to have the new bed and the new living room set. So we're going to be doing some shopping here at Slumberland.
You'll be back on vacation again. You'll buy so much furniture here, they'll be putting you up for a month there at wherever you want to stay.
Probably free rooms all over the country. The problem is you guys won't let me go again.
That's right.
They told me my next vacation is next August 3rd through the 7th if I can get enough done between now and then. But all right, so this week's story, pretty big deal. Last Tuesday, the election for the Camden County proposal for an increase in sales tax that would add 0.25%, which would be $100 spent. 25 cents then goes to the Camden County Sheriff's Department, and it was a good week for the Sheriff's Department as the Camden County voters have spoken. Well, 9.1% of the 32,633,000 registered voters, only 9.1%.
Yeah, that's pretty low.
Turned out and voted, and that's kind of common and typical in this area for an August election, especially one that wasn't highly publicized. And it was a special election, meaning this was a ballot issue that Sheriff Tony Helms had to fight and get on the ballot. So 1,855 voted yes, which is about 62% of the voters. 1,131 voted no. So that means this is going to go into effect. The issue that some people had with this does not go into effect until the next year, which would be January 1 of 2022. So at the Camden County Commission's meeting on Thursday, August 5th, Commissioner Greg Hasty, mentioned that sales was up enough so far this year that there was an additional $525,000 in the general budget for Camden County that wasn't expected to be there. So he urged that the deputies that are currently working right now shouldn't have to wait, and he made a motion to put $250,000 from the commission's general budget to be added to the Camden County Sheriff's Office's payroll line item for salaries to put the raises into effect as soon as September 1st. So what they're proposing here, Chris, is that yes, the voters have spoken, they want the deputies in the sheriff's office to make more, but they're going to have to wait. And so the commission's office, a nice gesture, decides, all right, let's go ahead and cover them September through December so they can go ahead and make that increased wage. So there were concerns and questions, as anything, from attendees and also even callers on the phone at this meeting. I was able to watch the entire video recording, and they actually allowed people to be on the phone line and ask questions, which was a little interesting. I hadn't seen that before. And the other concerns were, if the county had the money, then why the tax? That was one question. And then also, how about the other county employees, Road and Bridge? You know, they haven't gotten a tax increase. They also haven't gotten a $250,000 gift from the county, and so there were a few members of them at this meeting that voiced concern. Hasty countered and said, listen, the gas tax increase, which is 2.5 cents, that was just passed in Missouri. KB talked about that on his show, his second show, if you remember. Every year for the next 5 years, they're going to add 2.5 cents per gallon to a gallon of gas on the additional tax. Meaning, by year 5, it's going to be 12.5 cents additional tax on every single gallon of gas you buy. So a 20-gallon tank, you're looking at an additional $2.40 5 years into this. I mean, that's going to create a lot of additional revenue. Commissioner Hasty projects that's going to create about $4 million in additional funding for the general budget of Camden County moving forward. And that's what he told everybody was, listen, we had to take care of the sheriffs. They're working their butt off. The community's spoken. I almost feel it was a feel-good gesture. You know, we are a very pro-back to blue area, and the people were disgruntled. They weren't happy. They were expressing concerns. And so the commission says, hey, here's a cool gesture. We got a little extra sales tax money. Let's pass it over to them. Now, the problem was Camden County Auditor Jimmy Laughlin, who seemed to be blindsided and caught off guard by this agenda, or this hasty proposal, if you will. Laughlin, as I said, he's the auditor. Better way is the chief financial officer for the city of Camdenton. He was concerned with how they could pull this off by September 1st by staying within state statute and putting everything into effect. He said it's going to be tough and could create some serious challenges without breaking that statute. Commissioner James Gohagan was also caught off guard, and he seemed to be unaware. He asked questions about where the money was going to go exactly, even directed some questions to Tony Helms, Sheriff Tony Helms, to say, where is this going to go? And Sheriff Helms answered that $20 per hour is what he wants. And the questions there then is, okay, so how about deputies that have been there for 10 years and their pay raise is a little higher? If they're at $18 compared to $14, does everybody get bumped up to an even playing field? And so it's widely believed that everybody, and that's undetermined yet who is going to get these raises, is going to get a $5 per hour raise immediately, September through December, and then when the sales tax is implemented January, then that will replace that additional funding. Many county employees outside the sheriff department are starting to feel slighted, is what this big concern is, though. Because like I said, the road and bridge, you also have county employees in the courthouse. It's unclear not only how they're going to legally make this happen by September 1st. But another question that I kind of had is, well, who qualifies for this $5 per hour raise? Because there are deputies, there are jailers, there are detectives, there are different positions, and I'm not sure how many staff members. I've put a question in to Camden County to find out these questions, and we'll follow up on this story next week. But if it's only $5 an hour for a 40-hour work week, we're looking at an additional $200 a week, or $850 a month, you could call it, for qualifying sheriff department employees. So at $850 additional per month, it's about $3,400 from September through December. So if you're getting $250,000, Chris, that's better be giving 73 and a half county employees that projected raise of $5 more per hour at a 40-hour work week for those 17 and a half weeks that'll make up the rest of the year. And I think this is a great gesture. I think it's good for the deputies, the county. However, the question is, now who gets these pay raises? Can the auditor pull this off by September 1st? And what kind of backlash is the county going to continue to get from other employees who feel they aren't being appreciated? So do you feel this is more of a move of we have to do something because our deputies are underpaid and the money's there? Or do you feel like this might be an answer from the commission's office to look good to the community's eyes, the voters' eyes, to say, yes, we back the blue, now we've got this extra money and that's where we want to put it?
It's interesting. The biggest question on the vote, I think the main reason why a lot of people voted against this was because it was kind of like they said it's a blank check. There's no hard and fast rules of where this money has to go. It's just kind of out there to spend however the sheriff's department wants to spend, and we don't necessarily trust that. Right? So that was one of the biggest concerns and why people voted against that. I think pretty much everybody wants the sheriff deputies to get raises and keep them around longer. They definitely deserve it, need it and stuff like that. It seems to me that if they did this without the knowledge of the COO and Commissioner Gohagan, then there's more of that under the table happenings, that it's not all on the up and up. Everybody doesn't know what's going on. Everybody's in on it. That there's kind of an agenda back there. So depending on how much of that is really going on, it seems to be a good thing that the deputies are getting this extra money early, if indeed that is able to happen. But it also seems like there's still some shenanigans under the table happening that some of the people didn't know about. Why didn't they know about that? Why weren't they allowed to be in on that and make the decision? So we'll kind of have to see how this plays out going forward. There is definitely a tiff between folks in the commissioner's office there that's happening, and the apparently Sheriff Helms there, if some people were caught off guard on this.
Yeah, and my question to follow up on that is going to be, how can we prove how this money is used? Because that question was brought up at this commission's meeting was, okay, Tony, Sheriff Helms, how are you going to use this money? Or can we put a bylaw or a statute in this funding that says how you have to use it? And Commissioner Hasty said, no, we as commissioners cannot dictate any certain department or sector of our county. We cannot tell them how to spend. Our job is to get them the dollars and the funds to put into their budget, and then it is at their discretion. So I did the math, Chris, and if 25 county employees in the sheriff's department got that raise based on that $5 an hour increase at 40-hour work weeks for those 17 and a half weeks, you're looking at $87,500 is what that's going to take for 25 employees to get that raise. And so I think there's about 15 deputies in the area. There's a handful, couple of detectives, there's a few jailers. So, I mean, right there, all those people should get raised immediately. Where's this additional funding coming from? And I guess maybe the overtime hours, they've already eaten about 80% to date of the fiscal budget for overtime hours, and that would be time and a half, and that would be hours not already figured, so that wouldn't be that $5 increase. That would be figured at a hard $30 an hour at time and a half. So a lot of questions to be had, and one other element here is this gas tax is not a sure thing. They're getting some major fight back right now in the Missouri State Senate and the House of Representatives, and it is not a guaranteed thing to be there. So that $4 million in additional funding for the next 5 years from that gas tax is not a guarantee, meaning this $250,000 could have went a lot of places, seeing the Sheriff's Department has this tax increase coming based on the taxpayers in January. They've already waited all of this time, and we now have this sense of urgency from our commissioners to get them up to that $42,000 a year is what Sheriff Helms was quoted as saying is going to be the base pay with benefits for deputies. So a lot of questions. We've put some questions into the county. We're going to be talking with Jimmy Laughlin, the auditor. I'm also going to attempt to speak with Sheriff Tony Helms to get some clarification, because it was a big win for the sheriffs, the deputies, the people in Camden County. Question is it legit, and is it as good as it looks on the outside? We certainly hope so, and we're going to continue to dig and keep you guys updated on that. But all in all, if you're a sheriff, if you're a deputy, if you're part of that sheriff's department in Camden County, congratulations. It was a big week for you. You're talking about essentially a 50% increase immediately starting September 1st, and that's going to change people's way of living. That's going to allow them to have some more discretionary income and probably be a little more comfortable.
Yeah, it's a good thing as long as they do it right? And what people were worried about is, okay, Good Old Boys Network's going to kick in. There's going to be deals under the table, maybe kickbacks. We don't know where that money's going to go. If they can do it all above board, we can see where it's all going, and it's all going for good. That's great. If not, then it's just going to cause trouble.
And I do have one issue with Commissioner Hasty. What he talks about, he said at this meeting, he said, it is our commission's office effort to make things above the table and transparent and make everybody involved. It's why we have these meetings. He said, we don't have to have these open to the city like this. We don't have to have you guys in here and have the phone calls. He goes, we can do a closed meeting with us and make a quorum and have the auditor there, and that would still be a meeting. We don't have to open these up to you. And then as he's saying this, you have a disgruntled Commissioner Gohagan sitting directly to his right, rolling his eyes, wondering, when did you guys talk about that? And if you're trying to tell your constituents that you're being transparent, but 33% of your commission's office is not in the loop and has no idea what you're bringing to the agenda. I mean, that seems fairly non-transparent as far as claiming to be open and transparent. So there are questions, and like we said, we'll keep you updated.
We will keep an eye on that, right? That's why we're here, to keep an eye on that. We don't have a dog in the fight. We're not for this side or that side. Hopefully all the sides will come together and do it right.
Oh, I'll tell you, I'm for a side, but we won't get into that. So big story taking the headlines over the lake the last month and a half is this biker feud. And according to Lake Expo, it heats up with a suspicious fire destroying homeowner. He was the one who was charged with first-degree assault and armed criminal action. Of course, he bonded out on July 27th, and so he was not home at the time of the fire.
And it's suspicious. Due to the extent of the damage, the investigator could not determine the specific cause, which kind of shows you that it was more than just a normal fire. If it was so bad, it just took care of everything. The fire chief said we didn't have anything left to investigate. That's how heavy that fire was. So yeah, this is the second fire to target the Midwest Drifters Motorcycle Club, of which Ponder is a member. I think their home base was burned down a couple of weeks ago. So not good.
And it is interesting, and you know it's hard not to. You try not to read the comments on Facebook, but you kind of get sucked in, and a lot of people said this isn't a war. You know, you don't go after them. In a biker gang war, you don't go after somebody when there's not blood to be had. Meaning you don't just burn somebody's house if they're not in there. You don't burn somebody's motorcycle club if they're not in there. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. That is the way of the land as far as the biker gangs are concerned. And so there is a lot of suspicion that this is supposed to look like it was retaliation. It may not be. We don't really know the facts, but I will say it is rather suspicious. And there was even a few people that had suggested that Tonka Conway Ponder may have done it because his house insurance policy would help cover his legal fees. Of course, that's just hearsay. It's a comment we read, not what we're saying happened. But sad deal, just continues to get weirder as this progresses.
Let's hope that kind of dissipates and goes away, because we do not need that at the Lake of the Ozarks. We do not need a biker war at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Between all of our municipalities and all of the proposed taxes and all of the
There's enough
weird things going on, we have wars going on. We don't need a biker war to add to it. Now, here's a really cool story, and according to Lake Expo, we're going to show this picture to you. Missouri bow fisherman shoots massive invasive carp, biggest in the state of Missouri, killed by a bow. And qualifying right now, we're waiting for confirmation for a world record.
Wow.
Chris, tell us more.
So this guy's name is Matt Newling, Perryville, state record holder under alternative methods. You know, like you said, because he was bow hunting.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? Guys out there on the lake bow hunting?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
It is super cool, and it's a
Yeah.
lot more challenging than just, and it's nothing against you fishermen than, you know, throwing in and just waiting. I mean, you literally have to have precision and good timing, but.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So they shoot this colossal 125-pound, 5-ounce big head carp, and they both, because he was bow fishing with a friend, they both shot it. One of the arrows stayed in, the other one pulled out.
Right.
So it's this guy, Matt Newling's arrow, that stayed in, so he gets credit for getting the fish. It's so big, a 5-gallon bucket could easily fit into its mouth.
Well, that's what he said, right?
That's what he said.
That's what he was quoted as saying.
That's a pretty big bucket, right?
And he also said that, you know, the second arrow, his buddy's arrow came out. He was able to shoot another one in there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have been able to get it out of the water.
Yeah, think about
How
pulling
big
out.
was it?
125 pounds. I'm not sure how long it was, but it was 125 pounds.
What was the previous record?
Shoot,
like 104?
104. Yeah,
Isn't
just
that
over
crazy?
104. So that beat it by 21 pounds.
Smashed the old record.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's just crazy. And it is an invasive. It's not a native, you know, so it was. It's not good necessarily for the environment, this carp. So it was great to get that sucker out of there.
Heck
too.
yeah.
So
Newling also said, Chris, I saw Matt Newling in Perryville. He said, listen, every time I go out to fish, I say I'm going to go set a record.
Yeah.
He goes, never thinking it's going to happen, and it was just one of those things. So congratulations to Newling.
Yeah.
As you see that picture, that thing is massive.
It really is.
Can you imagine in the lake if that brushed up against your leg?
Oh my gosh! You know, I'd be walking on water if that thing hit me. But you know, it's what was interesting to me too is all the different state records, right? I mean, you think fishing is fishing, you know, you throw your line in, but no. I mean, there's different categories like pole and line, Alternative methods include throw lines, limb lines, bank lines, jug lines, spear fishing, snagging, snaring, gigging, grabbing, archery, and other things. I mean, who knew, right?
Man, I am
Wow.
a pro at giving and grabbing. Just ask Unique. I mean, I am one of the best.
Wow.
It's funny you talk about that because we were at the Wonders of Wildlife down in Springfield. They actually have the National Fishing Hall of Fame, the National Bow Hunting Hall of Fame, and it's crazy how many of our, really off topic, but how many of our presidents have been big into the outdoors, and probably the biggest was George W. Bush and his father, George Sr. They were all over that Wonders of Wildlife.
You know, you talked about Johnny Morris earlier. We need to get Johnny here to put in a big Bass Pro at the Lake of the Ozarks, right?
Come on, Johnny. Yes, he's got the money.
There's some land right on the water, right?
I'll tell you, I'd hate to be the person that, I hate to say this, I'd hate to be the person that was the brainchild behind that aquarium in Branson. Bigger tourist destination, and then you have to go against Johnny Morris's money and vision and connections.
Yeah.
And because if you put the two next to each other, you could fit 15 of that Branson aquarium inside. So I'd hate to be the person that built that close to that.
He needs to build another one at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Yes,
on the water.
Talk about Johnny Morris,
Let's
not the
go.
Branson guy.
That's
Do
right.
not bring that imitation crap down here. Don't you dare. All right, so another funny headline, and probably a good point for you dock owners and stuff that have concerns, but the way it was written was kind of humorous. Be courteous, Lake of the Ozarks homeowners push for better boating and wake control, and this was stemming from a Osage Beach meeting at the city of Osage Beach with Representative Lisa Thomas. Ameren was there, the State Water Patrol was there, and they were opened up to listen to the community about their concerns, and there were three main concerns listed, and I'll let you take it away from there.
Well, this is, I mean, the residents that were here for this is not a funny issue. I mean, they are dead serious about this, and that's why State Representative Lisa Thomas was there, along with a host of Missouri State Highway Patrol and stuff. There are a lot of residents that are really, really, really upset about the size of the boats, the wakes that are starting to hit, that have been hitting the docks and the shoreline for years now. The bigger the boats get, the bigger the waves get. And now they've got those wakeboard boats where they actually fill the ballast with water to cause bigger wakes so that you can, wakeboard. And those just tear docks up and seawalls and everything else. And, if you're another boat out there, that's really tough to get through. I mean, there's a lot of residents like myself. We don't go out on the weekend because the water's just too crazy, right, to go boating on. So there are a lot of residents that are really upset with this, and so much so that Lisa Thomas is now getting involved in this. I don't know if anything can be done about it, because obviously the people that have the big boats also have a lot of money, and they give some of that money to politicians who don't want to, upset the people, so I don't know if anything's ever going to be done about it or who can do something about it. Something should be done about it, though, because it is dangerous to boaters, to residents, to the property. And some of the people that were there at this meeting talked about, grandkids out in the water swimming, big wakes come along, and they're shoved up underneath a dock. I mean, that's extremely dangerous. People could, drown or get knocked out or whatever. So it is an issue that needs to be addressed. I don't know what or how this is going to be taken care of, but it is a problem.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol Water Patrol Division said that they were going to be focusing on offering warnings and then citations for people breaking those wake laws or those no wake zones. And then it was brought up from the people in attendance that said, hey, we really need bigger indicators. And Representative Lisa Thomas said, actually, that's a really good point, because if you go in a lot of these coves, you'll see the little buoys, or you'll see a no wake sign and a couple of docks on each side of the cove, but there's not always a real clear indicator. And when you're talking about a lot of these tourists, a lot of these people that are renting vessels and don't have a lot of experience, they don't know the no wake, the rules, the laws, and a lot of these rental marinas and places, they don't really have a lot of training that goes into place when they rent a vessel.
And there's kind of a razor's edge to this. I mean, we are the number one lake in the United States of America as far as people coming to have fun. So you don't want to, send off the wrong signal that we don't want you. On the other hand, we want you to know what you're doing when you get here if you're driving a boat. And there were some of the people in the meeting said Camden County prosecutor was turning away violation reports. You know, because you would think, again, you don't want to upset the people that are coming in. So if reports have been made that, you know, they don't know what the heck they're doing out there, they're turning a blind eye to that, according to what some of these people were saying. So there's a give and take to this, like there is just about everything in life, you know, but they need to figure out how to take care of this because it is hurting residents.
Yeah, and it's something you wouldn't think about if you don't have a dock, and you may think, hey, Karen, quit crying. Well, it's not that simple because if you have a dock and you're used to it being peaceful and you purchase your land there, you build your family there, and then as these bigger boats start to come in and they rip through.
Yeah, you got your kids out there swimming, and you know that's dangerous.
$25,000 to $150,000 these docks can cost before you even start throwing in lifts. And so having those torn up and having to repair those because someone's not at idle speed or not following protocol can be rather frustrating. Another thing that was brought up before we move on to our next story was the VRBO and vacation rentals because City of Lake Ozark allows no nightly rentals in Osage Beach. They still do, whereas those some condo complexes don't allow it. However, there's been a lot of fight back saying from these people that have been in these homes for years that a lot of people that bought their neighbor's house are now using it for nightly rentals, and they're seeing bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, college kids come in that are not just tearing it up, overrun the streets with parking, but also incredibly loud. And again, you'd love to say, hey, Karen, calm down, not a big deal, we're having fun. But if that's the place you build your life, you buy a home, you don't want to be dealing with that when you're at home and it's early in the morning or late at night and you can't park on your own street because of these things. So there is some concerns that the lake, as we continue to grow, we're going to have to be diligent in solving. Okay, big event. Are you talented? I don't care if you can juggle, if you can sing. Maybe you're quadruple jointed and you can put your legs around your head. Whatever it is, maybe you can sing, tell jokes like Uncle Chris here. But we want you for the first annual Pumpkin Chunkin' Palooza's Got Talent event on September 25th, part of the lake's biggest annual fall festival each year, Pumpkin Chunkin' Palooza, all presented by Above and Beyond Roofing and organized by the Lower East Sunrise Beach Rotary Club. Although it's September 25th, you have to get your audition tapes into pcpgottalent1@gmail.com. By September 1st, crack the top 10, you get to perform from the main stage at the Ozarks Amphitheater. The big thing is
that's coming fast, too.
And you get to vie for a $5,000 cash first place prize. And even if you can't compete, you're going to want to attend. Tickets just $20. That gets you a vote in the first round and then in the top 5 to name our first.
Are we going to be judges?
You'll be judging. I'll be on the mic saying all kinds of ridiculous,
He'll be the
outlandish.
MC. I'll be judging. So,
he's good at that, let me tell you.
Yeah.
All right.
I got no talent myself.
He's very talented, guy. So Best Damn Birthday Bash fireworks display was Tuesday. Got to stay tuned to Lake TV's Facebook page. We had guys all over the scene, from Daniel and Andrew and Ricky, and I think even Ella was out there shooting video for us. So we have a video on our Facebook page. You can check that out. Not going to talk too much about upcoming events. Big weekend or big week at the amphitheater. You're probably either on your way to or getting back from either the Shinedown show or the Kane Brown show. Huge week for them. Don't forget about Crossover coming up. And real quick, what's happening on Lake TV before we wrap up?
So we're into Shootout now. Shootout's coming fast. So Captain Ron Dugan is on the Spotlight show telling us about all the events that are coming up. So you want to watch that, catch that, and how you can help if you want to volunteer. Classic Game of the Week. You can see that every Tuesday and Friday night at 8:30 until the football season starts, which is happening fast. First game for Lake TV of the high school football season is on the 27th, and that is going to be Versailles and Knob Noster, I believe. But every Friday night through the football season, we'll have a game for you right here on Lake TV.
And don't forget the COMC Coaches Show with Coach Jeff Shore, Coach Shannon Jolly, Camdenton, and Osage with Uncle Chris. That'll be next week. For Lake TV, I'm Will. This is Uncle Chris from Slumberland Furniture. We'll see you guys next week.